Welcome to Her Comeback, the podcast for women who are done playing small and ready to begin their next chapter. I'm your host, Michelle Thompson, and I know firsthand what it takes to walk away from a safe path and build a life that you love. We are going strong here in season 2, and I could not be more grateful for you here with me each week. Real stories, real strategies, and real courage. Speaking of courage, make sure you pick up your copy of Courageously You, 7 Simple Frameworks to Create the Life You Love. It is out on Amazon in all formats. You could also buy it anywhere you buy books. So don't forget to grab your copy today, and I'll drop a link in the show notes. Let's get to it. Welcome, everyone, to Her Comeback. I am your host, Michelle Thompson, and I am so happy to have Anne van Leynseele. Did I say your name right?
Leynseele, but it's okay. Just
Oh.
Anne Van.
When I learned a little bit more about Anne, she's quite a spectacular person. She is the founder of Rarefied Life, and she has made a career out of reinvention, not just as a vibe, but as a discipline, from Hollywood producer to Fortune 100 consultant to an attorney advisor in the Obama administration. She's founding partner of an early cannabis law practice, and then later inside the Social Security Administration, where she watched retirement logic fail high achieving women in real time. Wow, that's some pretty amazing stuff there that you've experienced, Anne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm really pleased to be able to talk to your audience. I am a lover of steep learning curves. I love that when I challenge myself to learn something new and figure it out, and then it's okay, what's next? I got to figure out what the next challenge will be. And interestingly, when I was at Social Security, I did see a lot of the problems which 90 years ago didn't exist because we didn't live as long and we worked physical labor jobs. And now the world is very different. And instead of trying to figure out how to be happy with an ancient model, an antiquated model of retirement, I invented a brand new concept, and I call it Preferment.
I love that. And yes, we're going to talk quite a bit more about that. Before we do, though, I wanted to talk a little bit more about all of these things that I listed in your introduction that you have been a part of and that have been, that's who you are. For most people, they would call any one of those an entire career. What is the through line that lets you keep rebuilding in all of these different places?
A great question, Michelle. It took me a couple of careers to figure out that the passion that I have is stories. Starting in Hollywood and moving into business management consulting in process efficiency, which is really the difference between management thinks the reality is and what the workers feel the reality is. And bringing those two closes the gap in their differing stories. And then it carries on. Law is very much about differing stories as well. And then, of course, the author and the whole concept behind Preferment is finishing our stories in a very strong and progressive way. So I know it can seem that they're all very different, but there really is a through line.
As we've talked about reinvention here, was it a choice you made on purpose, or did you only recognize this pattern as you look back?
I came home one time from babysitting when I was 16 years old, and I announced to my parents, I never want children of my, and I don't think I ever want to get married. And
Oh,
it
how
played
did
out.
they respond?
They were fine. They have 3 other kids and they got grandkids, so everything was good. In fact, they have 2 great grandkids, so it all worked out. But I was very emphatic that I wanted to be able to choose exactly what I wanted to do my whole life. I wanted to be able to change and reinvent myself from a very early age. I saw the writing on the wall that the world was a really big place. My parents were very gracious about exposing me to a lot of really interesting things. And I realized that the existing model of having one career was never going to work for me. So
Mm,
I
good
knew
for
at a very
you.
young age that I wanted to do a lot of different things.
That's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
Of all of those chapters, what would you say, which one taught you something about yourself that maybe the others couldn't have?
I did have one big T traumatic experience in my life. When I was working in cannabis law, I partnered with another lawyer who actually stole for 2 years from our company.
Oh,
And
no.
when I discovered all of this, I shared with him that I knew what was happening and that I had filed a police report and I was moving forward on having him prosecuted. And he basically threatened to kill me. So I strapped on a
Oh,
bulletproof vest and I wrote a book about it.
wow.
So
Wow.
it was a big turning point in my life, but it also was an incredibly powerful lesson. And through learning more about trauma, I became much more aware and empathetic with other people's problems and the traumas that they have faced. And I actually, through my recovery, I became part of a group that's known as that experienced traumatic growth. So I came
Oh,
out of trauma stronger, more aware, more alert to the signs, and more able to help other people through it.
oh, wow. Good for you.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the SSA years and the
Oh,
Social Security Administration. So
sure.
walk me through what it actually looked like day to day, watching accomplished people collect their benefits and disappear. What did that look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I graduated from law school. I went back, I have 4 degrees and I kept going back to school. And when I went back to law school, I graduated in 2008 into
Oh,
the recession.
ah,
And there weren't a lot of legal jobs in the state of Washington. But again, because I was single without kids, I just said, okay, where are there jobs? And I picked up and moved with the help of some of my professors to a law job under the Obama administration.
mhm.
And I was placed at Social Security, which it was potluck. I was fine with that. I was open to learning anything. Again, while I was there, it was an experience where I was routinely exposed to some of the dilemmas and some of the problems that people face on an individual level. And there were patterns. And of course, the pattern led me to do more research. I also have a mother who was my original mentor, and she has a master's degree in sociology and focused her research on the challenges of healthy aging and dementia. She worked in a group that did a lot of really groundbreaking research in dementia. And again, that helped inform my awareness of the later part of our lives and how things can be different than we expect, and what some of the ways that we can have a higher quality of life in our longevity.
And you said that it wasn't age that caused the decline, it was the absence of a developmental milestone left to reach. Can you unpack that distinction for me?
Sure. When I started diving in deeper, I was looking for an alternative to retirement and it didn't exist. Through that process, I realized that there were no psychological or personal development milestones after 60. It just stopped. And
Wow.
if there were some, it was about decline, decay, and all of the physical and emotional and mental problems that people after 60 have. There was nothing to strive for. There were no encouraging signs that we could carry on. And again, I felt that was antiquated because it
Mhm.
doesn't reflect our contemporary society. We don't stop being productive at 65.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially these days. We're
Yeah,
healthier, we're living longer. It's,
exactly.
yeah. Was there a specific person or moment at the SSA that made you think this is not going to be my ending? I refuse to have this be me.
There actually was one in my life that it
Mm.
was someone, it wasn't through the SSA. There were patterns in the SSA, but there wasn't one that stood out particularly. There was somebody that I just thought, wow, she retired early from Microsoft
Mm-hmm.
and really didn't do more with her life.
Yeah.
And I just thought, she's so smart, she's so capable. And it just was sad to see all of that potential that didn't come to fruition.
And you say that there 67% depression statistic among retirees, which is just staggering. Why do you think our culture still treats retirement as a finish line instead of naming it what it is actually doing to people?
If we had a product that caused further damage to people,
Mm.
two-thirds of people that use the product, we offer a recall. And
Yeah.
that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
saying retirement should be thrown out. The whole thing should be thrown out and replaced with something that offers people hope, encourages them to aspire, and really is more productive for both individuals and our society.
Yeah.
There's
And
so much wisdom and mentorship and contribution that we're missing out on.
absolutely, I agree with that 100%. In building Preferment, Preferment is your registered method. Is that what you would call it? A registered methodology? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yes,
Okay.
it is. Thank you.
And so you didn't just critique the old model, you built this new one.
Yep.
So where did you start and what was that first real building block for Preferment?
I started at 48.
Oh,
After I
wow.
left SSA, I thought, okay, it's time for me to start getting serious about my retirement, my plan, what I'm going to do instead of retiring. So I
Mhm.
bought the farm. I bought a farm on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Ah,
And yeah, I have been a globetrotter, a wanderer my entire life. I've lived in, I know, 14 states and a foreign country. And I really thought, okay, it's time to buy a house for the first time. And I
yeah.
bought a farm in a state where I've never lived, in a place I never lived, doing something I've never done
Wow.
and something farming which is both a physical, a mental, and an emotional engaging activity. And that was all very intentional. As a single by choice person with no children by choice, I there's a lot of people that I'm not related to that will want to come and visit me in a beautiful place. So I
Yeah.
thought, this is how I can maintain all of my lovely relationships, my global lovely relationships for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's just amazing. How did you get the courage to launch into a completely new frontier like that? Where did that come from?
I have built my entire life trying to teach everyone that is near and around me that we can't fear the unknown. We
Mhm.
are so capable as human beings, and even more so now with the easy access to information, we can figure things out. And part of the beauty of figuring things out is it strengthens us at any
Mhm.
age. It's
Mhm.
called self-efficacy, and it teaches us that when we succeed at something, we can then realize we're able to succeed at other things. So I really encourage people to understand that learning something new and doing it allows you to realize, and you have to acknowledge this, that,
Mhm.
hey, I succeeded at that. I should go find something new to try and succeed at. And whether that's in your personal life or professionally.
I love that.
Thank you.
What does a retirement identity governed by your own rules actually look like in practice? And could you
Oh,
give an example of that?
absolutely. I was shocked when I started running into people that were retired at things I was going to, dinner parties, cocktail parties, networking events, my book readings for my other books, etc. And people would when I would say hello to people, everyone introduces themselves by what they do. During COVID, I formed a group for women that we met online on Zoom as a support group and encouraging people, women who strive. And I said, I challenged everybody at the first time we got together. I said, introduce yourself without using your career. And it was hard for everyone. And that is really the answer to what is an identity beyond career. It's really sad to me that people that are retired still introduce, I used to, instead of looking forward to what I'm aiming to do or what I'm currently doing. And again, I'll note I was 48 when I started thinking about what I was going to do when I left my career or careers. I love what I do and what I've done in the past, but I want to always have something that I can say, this is what I'm doing now, and this is what I plan on doing next.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and that
It's
is all tied into our values and how we identify ourselves, which is our
yes.
identity.
Yeah, and you're so on it with that because in my coaching, I work with women, and once the kids are gone and maybe they had a job or didn't have a job or whatever, once all of the doing, like all the things they do, once that is no longer there, who are you? Not who, what do you do? Who
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
And there's so many people that struggle answering that question. I was one of them at one point in my life. I had to figure out who am I? Who I love? What makes me tick? And I think that this is something we really see just across the board, really with all ages.
Well, and Michelle, it's so great the work you're doing. It's so powerful and empowering for those women that you're helping them open their eyes to the importance of them. We can get so lost in other relationships, and women are conditioned from birth to take care of other people. And I
Yes.
just think it's phenomenal what you're doing and so important. My fourth book is called Girls to Rule. And it really is, again, addressing the same principles that you and so many other wonderful women are now dealing with themselves and or helping each other.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Let's talk about something again with your model. You said preferment isn't for everyone. You said it's an alternative choice. So, who is it not for, and how does someone know if it's their path?
Well, there are people that are absolutely happy with what they're doing in their own retirement. And
Hmm.
I think it's very critical that we've gotten out of control with judgment. And I think
Hmm.
we need to accept. And it's why I clarify it doesn't have to be right for everyone. It's
Right.
okay that we have an alternative and let
Mhm.
people choose what's right for them as long as it really is their choice.
And it's something that resonates with them. Yeah. So let's talk some more about the chocolate farm. I was telling you before we got started, you are just automatically my favorite person because I love chocolate. It is
Oh,
my thing. And so you wrote the book, Savor Your Chocolate,
yes.
and your general counsel for 5 nonprofits that focus on at risk youth and aging at home. So, how did these pieces, the farm, the nonprofit work, the book, all feed the same philosophy of purposeful change?
Well, a chocolate cookbook that I wrote is because I'm a cooking show fan.
Yeah.
And it always makes me a little nutty when
Mhm.
they give them like milk chocolate and say, make a savory dish. And
Yeah.
I would pull my hair out and say, don't give them chocolate with sugar. So
Yeah.
I wrote 56 recipes, which, oh my goodness, testing recipes is hard.
Yeah, I bet.
And then finding people to taste test them is even harder. My poor
Yeah.
neighbors, they've tasted so many different chocolate things. But I really encourage when I won a global award for the chocolate that we grow on our farm, I took a
Oh,
deep dive into understanding chocolate is one of the most complex flavor profiles of food that we eat on planet Earth. There are over 1,200 flavonoids.
I
And
did not know that.
a lot of the flavors are covered up when we mix it with sugar. And so I encourage people to use unsweetened chocolate things like cacao nibs and cocoa powder and 100% chocolate. I'm really pleased to tell you, I was at a chocolate conference in Amsterdam in February. It's a global conference and it's a week long. And I'll tell you that I think that would even be too much chocolate for you, Michelle.
Yeah.
A week of chocolate is a lot of chocolate.
Oh,
But
I'd love to give it a try.
well, it's open to the public. But I really encourage the idea of change in everything that I do. My publishing company is called Cultivating Change Media. And it really is about we need to, instead of just altering our thinking about things, sometimes we need to really just throw out the old model and start fresh. And so my idea behind chocolate was to throw out desserts.
Mhm.
And because there's enough chocolate dessert recipes in the world. And I wanted
Yes,
to open people's eyes to what it is like to eat chocolate for dinner or lunch or breakfast.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That
thank you.
is. So, what does a typical work week these days look like for you? And how does it reflect the framework that you're teaching?
Well, the ideas that I talk about is what lights you up? What do you
Hmm.
value? What really excites you? And that's why I keep a lot of the things that you've mentioned going. I still love working in regulatory law. So I do a lot of volunteer work with states and people that are representatives that are trying to refine a new piece of legislation. I also love still working in chocolate. So I have donated to charity organizations where I cook a 5-course meal and bring it into people's homes and teach them about chocolate. And they eat a 5-course meal all with chocolate, including dessert, to educate them about all the different ways that you can enjoy chocolate. And so my schedule in any given week and then, as I said, I'm working on a project called Adaptable House Project, which
Mm.
is a brand new vision of how we can change our homes for aging in place in a way that's beautiful instead of institutional, but still very supportive of how our abilities and capabilities change as we age or with degenerative disease. So it's usually a week filled with meetings, writing, research, and educating others on things that matter to society at large, not just to me.
Oh, that's great. Now, I do have one more question about the chocolate farm.
Of
Do you ship chocolate? Is there a way to order it and it can get shipped to them? How does that work?
You're so sweet. I have a chocolate maker in Tacoma. I'll give you the place where they can look. She has a phenomenal patented project that's actually coming out, hopefully in time for Christmas, that
Oh,
everyone should try at home. It's phenomenal. It's a really brilliant idea that she's brought for a little home kit for chocolate
okay.
lovers.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll
Yeah.
definitely be looking for that.
So I'll give you the contact after we finish.
Oh, perfect. If someone reads about your preferment model and does just one thing differently, what do you hope that is?
Well, I had someone who picked up my book and she contacted me and she said, I read one chapter and you've already changed my life. And I thought, wow, can you put that in on tape?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But she, high achieving woman who was a corporate executive at tech companies and now consults for tech companies. And she discovered pottery. She
Oh,
never knew that she loved working with her hands and being artistic. And she took one pottery class and she with a friend, and she thought she'd be terrible at it because she doesn't see herself as a creative. And she loved it. And now she's taking a series of classes. She now holds out a day to do this newly found passion. And I was so thrilled that somebody discovered an aspect of themselves that they had either buried or never allowed to run free.
yeah. I love that you mentioned that because it's when you see that light come on for someone, you just had whatever small part it could have been and just guiding them to see something within themselves. Isn't that just the best feeling, you know?
It's phenomenal. I feel spoiled when that happens. And it is a pattern that you see as well, that we push so much down, we hide so much, we ignore so much, we don't take chances. And people go, why are you bouncing all over the place? It is because I say yes with meaning, but I also say no with intention.
Yes.
You have to just put some boundaries up. We
Hmm.
all owe ourselves a life, and giving it without taking something that feeds you is where we run into disastrous burnout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
So, where can our listeners find you, the book, and more information about Rarefied Life?
Okay. Well, this is the lovely little book.
Ah,
And
beautiful.
there's me at the farm with my truck
Yes.
and my hat. And
Love it.
Rarefied Life is RARIFEDLIFE.com. And I love to hear from people. I'm also on socials, LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook. We have a group there. So people can find me. My last name means I'm pretty easy to find.
Yes. It's more unique. So, unlike
Yeah.
Thompson, I mean, there's hundreds of Michelle Thompson.
But I found the right one.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have so enjoyed our conversation. I love the work you do, and I love your reinvention, how you continually to just model that and be true to yourself and live your life on your terms. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I think what an example for all of us to look at and follow.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, and I just wish continued success in all your adventures.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been fantastic. And go matter somewhere, everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, Anne.
Bye, Michelle.
That's all for today on this episode of Her Comeback. Thank you so much for taking time to spend with me. If this conversation moves something in you, do me a favor and share it with someone else who needs to hear it. And make sure you're subscribed on my YouTube channel. And if you're ready to stop thinking about your next chapter and begin to start living it, I would love to talk to you. Head over to michellethompsoncoaching.com, book a call with me, and let's figure out what your comeback looks like. See you next week.